September 11th, 2001, a day which will always be remembered. 15 years ago, our country was involved in the worst terror attacks on U.S. soil that anyone has seen in years. Members of the terrorist group Al-Qaeda hijacked and targeted the United States in hopes to cripple our infrastructure, economy, and most importantly, our American way of life. Of the 4 hijacked planes, 2 of them crashed into the World Trade Center in a deliberate attack against America and what we stand for. Nearly 3,000 innocent civilians perished, but because of the first responders, so many more were saved. It's a day that changed the way of life forever. For the people who were there, it's a stain in the memory that can never be erased. 343 firefighters, 37 Port Authority officers, and 23 police officers fell victim to the attacks. 15 years later, and the memory still hurts, but the accomplishments of what was created because of that tragic day sparked hope and pride that could not be extinguished. It's a subject that strikes at the heart of the Sacred Heart University students, and every year we gather together for a candlelight vigil to honor the victims and heroes of that day. The World Trade Center is now a memorial, with 2 square fountain pools with the names of the victims outlined around them. Only built feet away is the memorial and museum of what was left from the fatal day. Retired police officer James Scanlon was one of the first responders there on that day.
Jim Scanlon, I'm a retired New York City police sergeant. Well, I was home originally and then responded down to my command where I work in Upper Manhattan. As a result of what occurred, found out, lost people that I knew, people that you just knew for a good while, and it was just a shock to the whole city. To all the people. What I was thinking after the second tower got hit, that we were under attack by, outside people, whoever. Said goodbye to my family, my loved ones, and went down to work, not knowing if I would ever return.
Everything.
I went to my assigned precinct in Upper Manhattan. Got ready for work, got my uniform on, and just basically started posting officers all around Upper Manhattan, and then sooner or later I had to do a couple assignments downtown and back again, and just for the most part it was uptown and not down at the World Trade Center. The first few days it was just we were close to the pile. We weren't exactly on the pile, but where I worked we were all assigned to the northern perimeter along Canal Street for the most part for several months. The way I felt was, after we found out that there were terrorist attacks, everybody was on edge and nervous and scared and upset, and we just wanted to do our jobs and protect everyone and find, rescue people. So I was down there the following week for a day. I was down there overnight and digging like everyone else, and it was very nerve-wracking, very harrowing, because still a week into it, it was still smoldering and burning, and you never knew when you were on the pile if it was going to be a collapse or not, and several times whistles would blow, and then you would have to get off the pile and then go back up and continue, and it was very tedious. You were just using your hands to dig debris out of there. I never found anybody, so on the pile one day. The rest of the time I was assigned to the perimeter security, so. But it was upsetting. Everybody, you worked with co-workers and people from your fellow precincts, and we were even assigned with state troopers. You got to meet a lot of different people, and we had to do a lot of going down the line. We had to do checkpoints and searching people and vehicles and things of that nature. The weather started changing, it got very tough, and it lasted for several months. I don't know, in my opinion, it was a little unusual. Tragedy befall upon this nation, and people just went back to normal. I went back to my normal routine. They pulled us out of there at the end of the year and beginning of January, so I went back to normal operations at that point. So it was several months afterwards, but nothing was ever normal again after that. Just sad over, so many people were killed. It was just horrible. I mean, when you watch everything afterwards, every year you see the specials on it, and you look back and you just think, Jesus, how horrific it truly was. Innocent people murdered like that. It changes you. It changes everyone.
These few words capture the conscience of a nation. Of no day shall erase you from the memory of time. This is Pat Scanlon reporting for The Pulse.